Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be bringing you my episode review for the season 3 premiere of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, which had its big premiere last night. I finally had a chance to watch it earlier tonight. I couldn't catch it yesterday, but I did enjoy it. I finished watching it just now and I liked it a lot. So I want to bring you guys my very spoiler-filled review on what I thought of the Season 3 premiere. Now, if you're not caught up on Daryl Dixon either by the end of Season 2 or the first episode of Season 3, you do not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be dropping some pretty big spoilers. So again, if you're not caught up, you don't want to keep watching or listening. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, great to see Daryl and Carol again, the unstoppable duo once again. Perhaps this franchise's absolute favorite characters, or some people's favorite characters. You know, I like Carol a lot, but Daryl, of course, is my number one guy, so it's nice seeing him again. And it feels like they pick up pretty much where we left off, where they're exiting the tunnel, and they're now in the United Kingdom, or they were temporarily. And of course, they meet a fellow survivor, a local Brit by the name of Julian, played hilariously and so warmly by the awesome Stephen Merchant. Unfortunately, this episode did exactly what I was afraid they were going to do, and they killed him off, like right away in the first episode. Towards the end, I'm like, no, I was hoping he'd make it back to the States with them, like he'd become their third companion throughout this season and then next year in season 4. And he'd make it back to the Commonwealth or something. But I guess Stephen Merchant is a busy guy since he can only do one episode, and there he was. You know what? But he was great as in this role. He was very, very convincing as a British survivor. He was very kind. He was very warm. He was very friendly. He brought a real sense of humanity to the part. And it's just such a shame he died when they got shipwrecked in Spain. And of course, it was rather fitting they gave him a burial at sea. So even though he couldn't see the United States, you know, he'll kind of see the rest of the world, so to speak, from like the ocean's depth, or you know what I mean. So yeah, I did not like that. That was the one thing I did not like about this episode, is that they killed off Stephen Merchant that soon. I thought he'd be around for at least a couple of episodes. I mean, it was kind of a pipe dream that he would survive all of season 3 and then maybe all of season 4. But I guess we only had him for one episode. But you know what? I liked him and enjoyed the scenes he had for what it was worth anyway. So now they basically didn't get very far from sailing from Britain to Spain. Now they're in Spain, and there apparently seems to be a rather hostile-looking, not necessarily hostile, but hostile-looking group of survivors nearby. And now Daryl has lost Carol once again by the end of the episode. Did she get abducted? Did she simply walk away? Is she doing her business down by the river? We don't know yet. But I'm sure they'll be reunited very soon in the next episode or so, because they've got a lot of story to cover in just 5 or 6 more episodes, I think it is. Is there 6 or 7 episodes this season? I can't remember, but I do remember it's a very short amount. But it's okay, because the Daryl show, what I think the Daryl show, as well as Dead City, does very well, is that it does quality over quantity. Instead of having like 16 or 20 episodes, they only have like 6 or 7 in one season. But they get to tell such enriching, well-detailed, well-thought-out stories with well-developed characters in a short amount of time that, you know, they kind of sacrifice quantity but for quality. And in my opinion, it works. It pays off. So I think we're going to get that in this season as well, and probably in the next 4th and final season as well. This show, the Daryl show, was renewed and confirmed to have a 4th and final season dropping some point next year. Will it continue to take place in Europe? Will it finally follow him and Carol's journey back home to the United States? I don't know. Only time will tell. But in the meantime, we have a lot of story and territory to watch unravel this season on Daryl Dixon, as it looks like they encounter new groups and people and faces in Spain, and they see how Spain has survived and endured the zombie apocalypse. But besides Stephen Merchant dying at the end of this episode, this was a solid season opener. It had some exciting walker sequences where we saw Daryl and Carol kill walkers together. We saw them have be in some beautiful scenery, which I believe was actually shot in Spain, but it was supposed to be London. The story took place in. But they did a very convincing job of convincing or selling me that they were that close to Big Ben and they were close to London and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. That was very well done. And they loved meeting temporary new character Julian, giving them a means to escape the Europe via his boat. Unfortunately, they don't get very far, but I'm sure they'll get to where they're going in due time, but they got a few more adventures ahead of them first. So I'm excited to see what this season has in store for us, because from the previews and promos, it looks pretty damn exciting. So, another thing I loved about this season opener is that we saw this amazing bent neck walker, like its head was still attached to its spine, and it had all of this vegetation and growth just sprouting from it, like it had become part of the overgrown bush that had overtaken the street of London. And I'm like, yes, that is such a cool design and a cool way to show how old this walker is. So I liked that a lot. So like I said, solid season opener. Just didn't like the fact they killed off Stephen Merchant so soon. I would have liked for him to have stuck around for a couple of episodes, if not the entire season and next season as well. But, oh well, at least we got him for this episode, so that was pretty cool. What did you guys think of the Season 3 premiere of Daryl Dixon? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you expecting more, expecting less? Let me know what you think of it down below in the comments section. Please keep it civil and respectful. Have a wonderful rest of your night. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, drops new episodes every Sunday on AMC and AMC Plus. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.